Another day, another night.
It's a Tuesday today. Typically on a Monday, aren't we?
This is true. It's a special, special day.
Very special.
Did you have a good Labor Day?
I did. Did you?
I did. It was really nice. Saw my mom, did
Good.
some biking with the fam, and it was really nice.
Did you chow down on some dogs?
I did. Terry, I made like the best burgers I've ever made in my life. And it was really simple. The key, don't pre-patty your burger.
Okay.
Smash them on the grill.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah.
Did you do the thing where you cover up a brick with like aluminum foil and just?
No, actually, I should have done that. I just used a spatula.
Okay.
But yeah, man.
Well, someday when this is all over, we'll get together in our backyards and you'll make those hamburgers and I'll make my new street corn.
What?
Yeah.
Do you roll it in Parmesan?
No, but that's a great idea.
Oh my God. Yeah.
No. I take sriracha sauce and mix it up with some Duke's mayo.
Oh,
slather it on. I'm out for your heart, buddy.
I can't wait.
All right. It'll happen.
Shall we get into tonight's episode?
Let's get into it. It's a very special episode tonight.
That it is.
Calling it How to Comic, and it's presented by Chevrolet Trailblazer. Chevy has an interactive activation within this weekend's DC Fandome Enter the Multiverse event that we're going to talk about right now. What is DC Fandome Enter the Multiverse, Adam? Can you tell me?
I'm glad you asked, Terry. It is an event taking place this Saturday, September 12th, and will be available on mobile and desktop and or any device that gets an internet service, and you can check it out at dcfandom.com. Fans can take their love of DC to the next level and explore the furthest corners of the multiverse. Fans will control their day, watching hours of free content of their own time by creating their own unique view via the DC Fandom Scheduler, which is actually pretty cool. I was checking it out, and like, there's so much stuff there. And
played around with it, some of it.
Yeah. You just kind of make your schedule and kind of check out the things you want. It's like
so you're telling me that if you can make your own schedule going into this thing.
Yeah, it's like there's so much to pick from.
You can't do that with a normal convention, can you?
No.
The typical. That's
no.
great.
It make it really, really easy. Basically, everything is on demand, so fans can get to do what they want, when they want, wherever they want, as long as it has an internet connection, and that you're connected to dcfandom.com. Enter the multiverse. There's something for all the fans, you know? But tell me, what is the deal with Chevy?
Well, I don't know. I was going to ask you first about Blurds, but we can move right on to what is up with Chevrolet.
Yeah.
Chevrolet is sponsoring the event with the DC Fandome Trailblazer Customizer in the Funverse, where fans will be able to choose their DC alter ego by selecting one of 5 characters, I think it is. That would be Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Joker, or Harley Quinn.
Get out of here.
Daddy's little monster.
What?
Customize their Chevy Trailblazer. Here's a sneak peek
killer.
Of some of the customized designs you'll be able to create at the Chevy Trailblazer Customizer DC Fandom this Saturday. Clara, roll it. Experience the Chevrolet Trailblazer at DC Fandome. Explore the multiverse this Saturday, September 12th at dcfandom.com. And with that said, we're honored tonight to have DC artist Jill Thompson joining us to draw some DC comic covers.
Hey, welcome. Jill.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Jill.
For joining us.
Hey, I'm really, you got me all wanting to have some street corn now when you're talking about that.
You like the street corn talk?
I do.
Are you, you're in Chicago, right?
I am.
Nice. It's one of my favorite places.
It's lovely autumnal weather right now, but raining.
Yeah. Somebody I have a bunch of friends in Chicago, and one of them they were posting on Instagram how sad they were about not being able to swim because it's already cold.
Today was cold. Yeah. Had to close all the windows, and it's rainy, it's chilly, but not too bad.
Okay. You
I
wouldn't
mean,
go
I like
swimming
this
though,
type
would
of weather. No, I would not.
you?
And we can't go swimming anyway because all the beaches are closed.
Oh, that's right. Those lake
Yep.
beaches.
Do you have any friends
Yeah.
that have pools there?
I do not. None of my friends have pools. I would like to go into the lake, but I don't want Mayor Lightfoot to drag me out. Also,
Oh,
I don't want to get the COVID, so
Yeah.
I will stay away.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
yeah. That old
I can
bastard.
splash around in my bathtub for the time being if I need to.
I think that's hopefully you have a nice, decently sized tub. The clawfoot.
Oh my gosh, no, actually when I sit in it, if I want to get my neck down, then my knees and stuff stick out. And if I want my legs to be all comfy, then my boobies stick out. So it's not good. It's a shorty tub.
Try to make some friends with people with pools. And, yeah. Just enough for them not to be like, oh, you're making friends
But
with
they're
me. just
not my
for the pool."
bubble.
Oh, they're not in your bubble.
No.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
I'm super strict about this.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I know that.
It's like if you let me in your pool, you guys can't go in your pool for like 2 weeks beforehand, and you also can't be around when I'm in the pool. So it's like I just need someone to loan me their pool without them in it.
Yeah. So who is
Or
in
hot
your
tub.
bubble?
I have some of my Spartan friends, and and my sword fighting friends.
Sword
And
fighting.
we
Wait a
are.
minute, hold up.
Wait.
Sword fighting. What's
Are you a
going on?
fencer?
I am a longsword fencer. Novice, very novice.
I don't
like
know
the
anything-
novice-y novice.
Tell me more. I don't know anything about this.
Well, I train at a place called Forteza Fitness with the Chicago Swordplay Guild, and I am a happy novice who was going to take her companion test in the beginning of March.
Oh.
And now I've forgotten most of the things that I had to learn, and I'm going to have to start all over.
Perfect timing.
Um,
So sorry.
but it's a really great place, and we do longsword, also rapier, and Bowie knife fighting, which I like, and lots of other deadly arts.
Sounds like we have a phone call already.
Oh,
Hey, caller.
Hello.
Hey, this is Avi from Queens.
Hi, Avi.
What's up, Bobby?
Avi.
Well, I'm drawing a lot more.
Killer.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Jill's work?
It's fun.
what are you drawing?
Cartoons, possibly for an Adult Swim pitch,
Oh.
and anything I feel like.
Yeah.
What are you
Um,
feeling?
I'm feeling good. I mean,
What's the last thing you drew?
Kind of had
Good question.
last thing I drew. Yeah, I drew one of my characters and a bunch of shapes. Actually, the
love
last
that.
thing I drew was you know what? The last thing I drew was a slug going to work.
A slug going to work.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
bored and thinking about slugs, and it was Labor Day.
Sounds like you were drawing a picture of me.
Ew.
Hey.
Ew.
I want to know what this slug's job was. He was going to work. Was he like? Is he a business
I
slug?
don't know, but
Or
it's,
is he like a?
yeah, I don't
just
know.
like a-
But I'm sure it's one of those jobs where you punch a slime clock.
Slime clock.
I was waiting for the punchline.
One on the left there that appears to be Action Comics #1.
Mhm.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I can't see what you guys chose because it's later on my screen.
Yeah, my dad's a big comic book fan. I got anything involving DC, or maybe well, he's more of a DC guy, I think.
Yeah.
I read some comics as a kid, mostly Ambush Bug.
Ambush
Well,
bug.
That's Keith Giffen's Ambush Bug. Is
Yep, Keith Giffen Ambush Bug.
that
Big
your
fan of that as a
favorite?
kid.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
can't go wrong with some of that.
kind of reflected my sensibility.
Ah,
What
so you're
what
kind
sense,
of a
what-
wacky sensibility.
Yeah, what is tell us about Ambush Bug.
Oh, yeah.
I'm unschooled.
Ambush Bug is a guy named Erwin Schwab who dresses in a suit that I think it's supposed to look like a bug, and it has teleportation powers. And he's aware he's in a comic book, probably because he might be insane. And it's a very like there's a plot in the comics, but it goes off on a bunch of tangents, like the Ambush Bug Comic Buyer's Guide, from mint condition to army surplus, and a page with a bunch of fake comic book ads, and a whole issue dedicated to mocking the characters DC forgot.
It sounds pretty meta.
It's
Yeah,
self-referential.
is it meta?
It's very meta. It's like a tamer Deadpool, somewhat. What's interesting is Ambush Bug was supposed to be like a villain, and then he sort of became a hero, and then he got his own miniseries, and he got a couple miniseries.
Well, that's kind of how it works. Like Lobo was a heel, and then he turned face, right? As far as all the fans liked
yeah.
him, because he was.
Oh yeah,
He
Lobo
was-
was pretty cool. Did they ever end up making a movie about that?
He started out as a bad guy, and then everyone loved him, so he still was one of those kind of like gray area.
Anti-hero?
Could have been, yeah, very like anti-hero.
Yeah.
People love that kind of thing.
Yeah. Also, Mr. Mizias Pitalik, I liked him too. All right.
Oh, you
That's,
pronounced him
thanks for
properly.
talking.
Oh, all right, man.
Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Oh, do I get a prize for the guessing the one on the left, right?
No,
Or that's too obvious? All right.
I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
fine,
Just
no.
email me something. I'll send you something.
They're
Bye.
prizes.
Well, he knows that we're not advertising them tonight, but sure. I mean,
okay.
like we have some to give away.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
A little bit of Pavlov's dog going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I wonder if he likes the Tick. Would the Tick fall into
I love the
that-
Tick.
the category?
What
The
publishes?
Tick was hilarious.
Who publishes the Tick? Is it Dark Horse?
No, I mean I think it was self-published by Ben Edlund way back, and then I don't know if it got picked up by someone. I can't remember the name of his publishing company off the top of my head.
Right.
Jill, how do you
Um,
do this? I came into this episode feeling pretty cocky. And
Well, that's the thing. I mean, people don't realize how much work goes into every page.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm old-fashioned. I do things analog. I don't do things digitally. Not because I don't want to, just because I haven't learned digital yet. Digital is really hard for me to learn. It's like a completely different skill set, and everything is named differently. Like, I've been trying to learn Procreate, and it seems like I watch the tutorials and I can feel like the wheels turning in my head and like question marks popping up over the top, like, don't get it, why? Just because things like, okay, I'm gonna just say multiply. It doesn't multiply things. I would think it would make more than one of them, but it somehow darkens a color, and I don't understand how and why it does it. So it's like they renamed things that I actually know how to do,
Yeah.
but things I learned in art school that like have a different rule, and they made like a button to click and like a little slider that you have to adjust something, and I'm like, I don't, and I never know
The
like
learning
why
curve.
to choose something. So my learning curve is really creaky and slow.
Hello?
Hi.
Adadra. You're on the air? Did we lose them?
We might have lost.
Yeah.
him.
Oh, hey. Don't go nowhere. How are you?
What up?
You there?
I'm
Caller.
doing good.
You doing good? What's who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
It's Hannah from Kansas.
Hi, Hannah from Kansas.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi. I'm trying to guess the Wonder Woman cover.
Well, you guessed
Okay.
it. It's Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah. What? What's your
Sorry, it's
guess?
the first time calling. I want to say it's the winter issue number 7 with the Wonder Woman for president. Because my
that would be
boyfriend's
correct.
kind of comic. He's in right now. You want to say something?
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Oh.
how's it going?
Hey,
Okay,
This is,
we
well,
were
she's
trying
right.
to call together, and I was the one who got in.
is this about?
Hannah's right about the cover.
Is that boyfriend or daddy?
Awesome, we got it.
That's what I shot. I thought it would be a good one to do.
I love your camera angle, by the way.
Mine?
Yep.
Oh, great.
We worked.
It's a great technique with
on
me.
that.
It's very. I have so many things set up around here. It's pretty cool. I have an awesome light, and then a tripod, and then the thing holding my phone for the camera.
Have you done anything like this before, Jill?
Well, I've done some Zoom things before, and I've been on other types of, TV and stuff like that. But and I've done like a couple of live streaming things. I mean, I could do it better now because I actually have something to put my phone on. Before it was me trying to hold it up above my art studio so people could see my drawing. I only had one device. So it's like I needed my iPad to film me while I took questions on my phone, and I didn't have anything to hold my iPad with. So I was trying to lean it up against like some books and make sure it didn't fall over, and it also had to stay at a certain angle. So this is much more professional. I will be utilizing this format as much as I can right now.
Any more questions?
Well, I would say you have a great. Oh, I was just gonna say she has a great eye for a camera and a great vanity mirror. I think that's what that is.
It's a truck
And
mirror.
also a great hand. It's what?
It's a truck mirror. It's like a side view mirror.
Oh, really? Well, that's even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I would like to say that like I
and a
whacked it
great
off of
hand
a
to
truck
draw with.
when I was on my bike, but I didn't.
Yeah, and just don't get your floor too wet when you're splashing around in your bathtub.
Oh, it's a tile floor. It can take it.
All right.
Hey, caller, are you going to experience the DC Fandome Enter the Multiverse on Saturday?
We were gonna look it up because we saw the Chevy ones with the customizations. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
There's all sorts of panels and things.
Did you do any of those? Did you deck any of those things out?
How do you do that?
I mean, we just saw what you guys showed. But
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you deck it out?
Like I don't know. Did they theme it out? Did you guys pick a character? Who would you be?
oh, if we could be a character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. Who would you be?
Wonder Woman.
You'd be Wonder Woman. Who would you guys be?
Who would I be? Probably Plastic Man would be cool.
Ooh.
Choice.
Yeah.
Be all stretchy. Stretchy and funny.
So you guys aren't offering the drawings for today?
You know, we didn't even discuss that. I can't speak for Jill because she's that's her art. I can't but for mine, I mean,
Tell me how you usually work this deal.
We usually just send people like a little prize and a drawing.
Ah,
there's nothing in it for us.
so not the drawing you're working on, but a
Yes.
drawing.
The drawing we work on, yeah.
We do a thing
Oh.
every first Monday of every month called Striking Features, where we draw people that are famous, and callers try to call in and guess who we're drawing before we're done.
Yeah, that's cool.
And sometimes that will result in a prize.
I see.
But with this, yeah, maybe this can land in somebody's mailbox.
Caller, do you want one of our drawings? Is that why you're asking?
I think that would be what they're.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You guys all have great talent, so.
Oh,
Thank you.
Would this be one of those things where you say, Clara, get their address, or so who's doing the phone answering? I don't know how this works.
They could, yeah. Will you guys email us? You see the email address above. Just send us your address. And maybe one of these things will show up in your mail. We know you're in Kansas, so
Okay.
there's part of that's already done. All right.
Thanks for calling.
Cool. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks a lot. Bye, you guys.
Sounded like they were in the bath.
I couldn't tell.
Did you hear that little splash? again?
Yes. Plop.
Right.
They took a
They sounded very lovey-dovey too.
yeah,
Like you talk,
flopping a turd.
or that. But
That's
one
so
of them was
sweet.
taking a bath, and the other one was doing that into the tub.
That's real love, huh?
Yeah. So,
That's sweet.
are you able to talk about any of some of your colleagues that you admire?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I've been lucky that not only do I write and illustrate my own stories, like Wonder Woman, the True Amazon, but I have collaborated with so many amazing writers over the years. I worked with Neil Gaiman and George Perez on Wonder Woman when I first started working at DC Comics. Grant Morrison on The Invisibles, and Will Pfeiffer on Finals, which is something we both made up. So
Oh, cool.
I've had a lot of great collaborations. I mean, that's just at DC Comics. I work with Evan Dorkin at Dark Horse on Beasts of Burden, which, I mean, I think I'm sure DC doesn't want us to cross-pollinate, but you're asking me to talk about my colleagues and my peers. So I can mention Evan and in that breath. So he's worked for DC too. So he did. If you want to look up something really great, he did something called World's Funnest, which was an incredibly ambitious project that had millions of DC characters in it, and was super funny because Evan writes some of the most satirical stuff ever. He's also done tons of stuff for Cartoon Network and I believe Adult Swim. So
That name
kind
sounded
of-
vaguely familiar.
yeah.
Cool.
So I'm kind of unfamiliar with this process. So you get a script from a writer,
Yes.
right? And then
When I'm working with a writer, I get a script from someone else. And I should have. Well, now everyone sends it to me on the computer, so I can't just throw it in front of you. So I get a script, or someone who's working in comics, you get a script from somebody else. Or when I'm working on something I write, I do have a script that I write out for myself. And then from that script, I do thumbnail sketches to, figure out the best way to draw what is asked for in each panel. So it's not just the first thing that I think of, even though sometimes that's the best thing. So I do thumbnail sketches and then kind of readjust and then sketch it out on a page. And for myself, I'm trying to think, I don't have examples of like a page in progress right now, but I've got, here's like thumbnail little thumbnail paintings that I did for the cover to Wonder Woman: The True Amazon, which is the graphic novel that I wrote and illustrated. So it was me trying to figure out which color scheme worked best before I went to do the big one. So this is somewhat like what I would do for a page, except they would just be like little sketches in pencil. Then I pencil things out, and I've got an example of what pencils would look like for me, but it's of my character, the Scary Godmother. I don't know if you can see that.
A little bit,
here. A little bit. So it's like it's a pencil, a tight pencil drawing, but it doesn't have shading on it because I paint everything that I do. And then I would go through and paint in watercolor. So
Just now, I just say I just now got a glimpse of your Wonder Woman, and it looks amazing.
It
Jill.
really does.
of this one,
Yeah, it looks so cool.
I tried to
Agreed.
like really do the style that was on this cover.
Yeah,
So it's kind of hard to match it. But then my own Wonder Woman looks like this. So
oh cool.
like this would be an
Wow.
example of the Wonder Woman that I did. So her costume's a little different. And then it's all painted. So there's no ink line on any of this. So I go from the pencils to doing paint, and then I do the outline. But here I did it backwards just for the sake of we're only on for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show like this is a DC Comics thing I just recently did. I'm not sure what it's going to be in, so it might be a complete spoilers. But it's a Batman and Poison Ivy pinup. And so this is all painted too. So I go from pencil to this paint, and then I outline it in paint. So there's no ink on here at all.
Wow.
Now, would you
And-
ever consider doing like a piece that wasn't painted?
I
Or
used
is
to do that.
Like your thing, like you.
I used to do that, and now I just paint everything. I mean, I do sometimes do black and white, pen and ink, but it's so hard for me to do that now. It's been so long since I've done it. I have to sit back and like rethink how I would lay it out because I kind of just finish everything in this painted style. I sketch a lot in black and white or in pencil, so it's not like I can't do it. But it actually takes me longer. It would take me probably a few days to get myself back in gear to be able to just do plain old black and white pen and ink. But I kind of like doing all of it. I like controlling everything.
What is your favorite what's your favorite part of the whole process?
Wow.
And then what do you dread? Favorite and then least favorite.
Good question.
Well, I don't know. My favorite part is sometimes the idea of it, and when I know what I want to do, and then the hard part is making it come out of my head and onto the page in the same way. So the process sometimes is, while it can be really enjoyable, it takes a while and it can be tedious, and sometimes the medium doesn't do what you want it to do. Like today, oh my gosh, I was so worried because today it's raining, but it's not a humid rain, it's a cold rain. And when it's humid outside, it completely affects my paper and how things dry. And I would, the watercolor paper will suck the moisture out of the air. So when you try and draw something, or when your paper is softer, or when you would try and paint it, it bleeds out into different areas because the paper's already kind of saturated. So you have to take that into account when you're painting, and that's something that people that work digitally don't have to worry about. But I mean, sometimes then you get happy accidents because the paper does something you didn't expect, and it looks really cool, and you would never be able to plan that. So I like the organicness of
Yeah.
of painting.
Do we have
Hey,
a
Caller, do you like to watercolor?
I haven't watercolored in a long time, but I sure do love to watch it.
Why is it that
Kinky.
when you watercolor, you can't mimic watercoloring digitally?
Yeah.
It's too hard.
It's it's almost dangerous.
It's
It
like
does
I
have a life of its own. Like things will bleed into a space that you didn't expect, or they'll make like a great little watermark that kind of enhances stuff.
You can't really go backwards with it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, can't go backwards.
Who's on the line?
This is Michael. I'm calling from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Hi, Michael from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Welcome.
What's new?
Hey, Jill. Great to see you. Not a whole lot. Our weather broke today, and so it just got really grim and cold and rainy. So it was a great day to just stay inside with the cats and hang out.
Did anybody in
we
the
have the
Midwest
same
get a
weather.
transitional, nice couple of autumn days?
Well, I mean, it's
This
autumnal.
last time it was really hot over the weekend here, and then yesterday was the transitional day, and I got out and did some yard work, and then today it was just bleary.
Well, I mean, there's apocalyptic things happening all over the place. Like in Denver, wasn't it? Don't they have wildfires and then snow and freezing temperatures, and it was going to drop 70 degrees in the span of the day? So it's like
Yeah,
fire,
there's an area
ice.
that's like in danger of the winter storms, and then fire surrounding it. Yeah.
I hope
a
that.
mess.
I mean, I'm worried about the animals. You know.
Yeah.
So I think
Jill, I
all of
just
that
wanna
stuff was
say,
coming this way. Yes.
Right. Hopefully not the wildfires too much, although a little bit.
No, I mean,
of
like
that, I think,
I'm
touched
sure that
into
has
western
something to do
Nebraska.
with your weather there, right? So it's like it was really hot because you have stuff happening to the west of you that's weird, and then other stuff happening. So that was my weather
Oh
report
yeah,
for
I mean
today.
on the Great Plains. On the Great Plains, we get some pretty amazing and slightly terrifying sunsets. Like Frank Frazetta style landscapes when there's things
Oh,
like
whoa.
this happening out west.
Replete with
Can I
barbarians.
come live there? Holy crap,
Sounds cool.
that's amazing.
I mean, kind of. I grew up in the deep south, and so when I moved here, I thought, okay, I can handle the summers because I live near the Gulf Coast, and it's just like living in a wet blanket. And I thought I would need to get used to the winters here, and I had lived here for like 6 weeks, and in late October of the year that I moved here, we had 14 inches of snow overnight.
Well, that's a
And
shift.
it wiped out like half the trees downtown, and it was just a total mess. And
Yeah, it's
my
awful.
grandmother called me the next day and said, "Papa's watching the Weather Channel. Are you still alive?"
Are you in Florida?
So, you know,
was,
when things like that happen, if I can get outside, I like to go outside and take a lot of photographs for things to paint because
Mhm.
there's always something really cool.
Well, I was going to ask, Jill, they were talking about like your technique and stuff, and especially with the watercolor and painting. Is there a certain style of story that you like to draw more than others? Like, do you like the fantasy kind of stuff, sort of like Sandman-ish type things, or do you like superhero things like Wonder Woman, or I guess like real world things like your Finals story, which was great, or even like the Invisibles or something like that?
See, I love them all.
Although I guess
That's
the
the best
Invisibles
thing.
kind of.
I love comics. I love telling a story, any type of story, in the comic format. So much. I mean, I've been doing this so long, and it's the thing I've always wanted to do. So I mean, like, I can't read anything without breaking it down into a comic page. Like if I read the newspaper or an article, I'm breaking it down into panels, like how I would draw it. It's kind of this weird default thing that my brain does now. So as long as it's a good story, I like to draw nearly anything. I'm really anxious to do some suspenseful horror. I've got a story in my head, but I love fantasy, and Sandman you were talking about. So like collaborating with Neil Gaiman was really wonderful because Neil is he has a really great way of finding out what you as an artist like to draw, or what's your favorite thing to draw, and then he kind of tailors the script to spotlight your favorite things. So for me, I mean, I think Sandman was one of the most ideal things for me to work on because I love drawing characters acting. I love silent moments. I like to see how much of the story I can tell without the word balloons, right? To me, that's what makes comics comics. You know, it's a 50% writing, and writing doesn't mean like the words that come out of the character's mouth. It's the art direction that the writer you might be collaborating with chooses, but then the artist has to interpret that. And it doesn't matter unless they send you a photo of exactly what they want you to draw, which is kind of not cool. I mean, cool in the fact if you need reference, but not if you're saying, please draw these exact things because I sure wish I could draw and I can't draw, and I just want you to be the hands I wish I had.
Does that happen a lot?
Sometimes like I think there are writers who, when they're writing art direction or a script, I think they might be nervous that they're not explaining themselves correctly to the artist, and it might be a new artist they're working with. So suddenly you get this script that is so incredibly intricate. Like they talk about things, you know, like you walk into a room, you see a table, it's made out of oak, it's stained with a walnut stain. There are 6 chairs, one of them has a wobbly leg. It's like, well, like, okay, does this come up in the story later? Or they're trying to like give you
over-explaining the scenario
instead of like reading you a story. To me, like the art direction, I'm saying like too many times, the art direction in a story should be as if someone is reading you a story when you were a child. So you get like this beautiful overview of what's going on. You get a mood more than a set list of like that you were supposed to recreate. So you can say you walk into a dining room, there's an old dining room set that's well worn. It's, you know, made of wood, there's no tablecloth. There's spider webs everywhere. It's really spooky. You don't want to be in here at night. And you get a good idea instead of them saying the walls are 15 feet apart and, you know, they're 12 feet tall. You know, there's a better way to explain that than giving you just like a list of details.
You know what? I hate to be contrary here, but hearing you talk about the type of wood and the spacing, I found myself being like, yeah,
You're like,
I was getting into it. There was something like very Coen Brothers about it.
See, I could probably argue that I could easily probably argue that both ways.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm just saying that there's like a more conversational way. I guess that's it. A more conversational way to talk about the things you do. So going back to Neil Gaiman's scripts, if you've ever heard him read any of his books, or if you listen to the Audible Sandman, it was like I listened to that and I was like, oh, I remember that's what all the scripts were like. And once you heard Neil talk, you could just hear him narrating the whole thing to you more or less. And he made sure that there were a lot of moments with subtle scenes between characters, so I could make them act because I loved that part of it.
Are those Pokeballs on the Superman cover on Action Comics there?
Pokeball.
How'd you know? Good eye.
Well, Jill was talking there, and then you moved the image over, so you zeroed in on the Action Comics cover, and I blinked a few times because I wasn't quite sure, honestly.
No, it's the
but yeah, I thought.
check out the real cover. They look like Pokemon balls.
So
I never realized that before,
Yeah.
but they do.
it's early futuristic
That's wild.
Easter eggs.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because I was like, holy crap, they do.
And then
They
I
really
realized,
do.
like, what were they? What were they there for? I don't even remember that until you pointed
Weird.
it out. It's like, why was that on that cover anyway?
There's some weird choice of coloring going on there, like the
They
red.
were probably super limited.
Yeah, very
It's
limited.
These are the rare ones, right? Either that or there's not actually a bottom half of the tire, and so this is Howard Stark, World's Fair levitating car crossover.
Back when only 6 colors existed.
But I can tell you what's a pain is painting around all of these little stars on her costume. Oh my gosh. This would be where I would like, oh, I wish I knew digital so I could just kind of cut and paste these stars all over her
Yeah.
pants. That's an interesting thing when you're designing a character. I see a lot of characters people make up, and they're really cool when they look like a pinup. But
Yeah.
then when you would think that you have to draw that over and over again from a bunch of different angles, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to kill myself.
Yeah. So that would be the part
Too
that you
many
hate,
details.
about your job, maybe?
That would be the part that I hate. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
And the other part I hate is sometimes it just takes a lot longer for me to finish a page than, I wish it would go faster, but there's, it's just like what I'm doing here. It's painting around things, outlining things. And, on a really long day, it can be like 14 hours
Man.
of
Do you ever take a
this
day
to
off?
get it done. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay.
It's weird because most of my days are the same. So I was telling people, except for the fact that I can't go out and socialize the way I used to, COVID hasn't really changed my regular day.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of artists.
Yeah. So, and now I think there are a lot of people who are going to be working at home who are going to, understand the type of life you get when you're home doing anything. It's you have some flexibility in the fact that obviously we see some people, they're like, I ain't wearing no pants for the Zoom meeting, but also you can they could work out on their patio or do something else. As long as you can get your work done, I think it doesn't matter what time you start your day.
Spoken like a true artist.
A true freelancer.
True freelancer. Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. I still feel strange if I'm outside in between like 12 and 3. I always feel like I should be in school. It doesn't really matter. I've been doing this forever and ever, but it's, you get that weird feeling when you were a kid and maybe you got to go home sick or you had a half day and the world was different in between like 1 and 3 because everyone else people are at work, everyone else is in school, you're not supposed to be out. So it was like this, it's not that the nighttime was the forbidden hours, it was like the middle of the day when there were all this weird mystery that could happen.
Carl, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm just kind of taking it all in. I just wanted to jump in real quick and say, Jill, I actually got to meet you very briefly at Comic-Con, Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City a couple years ago, and commissioned an
Was it the one where
absolutely
it
stunning
snowed?
Death of the Endless. No, I don't think it snowed that time.
Okay, because I was there twice, and there was
No.
one year that it was where you were expecting it was going to be 70, but there was like a freak snowstorm in the middle of it.
Oh, okay, nope. I guess this one would have been the other one. We talked a lot about finals and kept trying to convince you to revive it, but
I would love to revive it. Will and I actually have a lot more ideas for it, and I think that would be a matter of finding a publisher. The weird thing is we have made this statement more than once. Is some of the things that we said in that comic have happened, and they're mild compared to some of the other things that have happened in the world. So I said, we really ought to just do one of these where it's a more of a utopian turn to the things, just in case we are casting some kind of, like comic page magic. And of course, we could,
Right,
put
if you
ourselves in
bring-
there and we win the lottery too, which we could.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. Well, I'll let you guys get back to it, and maybe somebody else can come in and chat. But thank you so much for doing this. And
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling, man. Check out
Thanks for
DC
calling.
Universe, man.
I will
Yeah,
do.
enjoy
Thanks
the
again, guys. Have a
online
great night.
cons.
You too, man.
Stay well.
Absolutely. All right. Take care.
Keep it real.
Jill, is it weird to have fans?
No, it's really nice.
Yeah.
I think it's quite wonderful. I mean, I'm on the lowest level of, celebrity that you possibly could have, I guess. And the fact that sometimes I'm in the grocery store and someone says, "Are you Jill Thompson that draws comics?" I'm like, "Whoa."
Oh, that's
Like,
killer.
yeah. So I'm grateful that people, one, like what I do enough that not only do they remember it, but they know that I'm the person that does it. And if they want to come up to me and say something about it, it means that it really meant something to them.
It's gotta be
And it is
satisfying.
my goal while I'm working on something to try and move people one way or the other. I mean, if it's funny, I want to make them laugh. And if it's suspenseful, I want to make them scared. And if it's moving, I want to make them cry, because that's my job as a storyteller and an entertainer.
That's got to be two of the hardest things to do with comics, is to get a laugh and a cry. Right?
I would say in Beasts of Burden, we've done it. Evan has written some stuff that will make you laugh on one page and then make you cry on the next one, because it's all animals and they have a tough job. So,
Yeah.
And people have felt. I mean, I've cried while I was working on that series. So,
Really?
yeah, there's one page that I would tell people if they found it, I would, like, give them a free comic or whatever. And it's because I was crying while I did it, because it moved me so much. And there was a tear fell from my eye onto the page while I was painting it and made this little salt flower on it.
What?
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
it's got, like, that one page had my own tears in it, because I was just so moved by what happened. It broke my heart. So
That's pretty meaningful.
That's cool.
I know I have missed. Well, okay, this is just some flag swag here, because I was like, I know that this is not the accurate amount of stripes on this flag, but then I realized it's just this thing on a podium. It's not a real flag. So
What do you find? So you're drawing in a very retro style with this cover.
yeah,
What do you find? What are the differences between the way they approached anatomy back then versus now?
Ooh, good
some of it looked like they were just trying to get it done before the deadline.
Or were there just different? Were workout regimens just different and different? They were just different.
It could have been. I don't know about their workout regimens.
Just gin and a little walk around the block.
It sounds like it's kind of a good thing.
That does sound nice to me.
Well, I don't know. You hear stories about the ye olde comic book artists back in the day, where guys would wear, suits at their drawing table because it was
All
back in the
dudes.
suit wearing days. And I don't know, it was kind of cool. So I would say there's kind of a bit more formality to some of the stuff of this era, like the stuff that you're drawing. What's the Batman cover? Is there a Batman cover? No.
Me? Yeah,
I can't see.
I'm doing Batman.
Yeah. So it's
Detective Comics.
it's back in the day of, it's like the sensibilities. If you think about the way people talked in the movies, they're like, listen, you see, we got to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, crumb bum.
So- yeah. So there were these very, I would say more exaggerated motions, but I don't know. I always tell my students or people who want to learn to draw that, I mean, comics is exaggeration. It's just things are a lot more fluid now. I don't know, things look a little stiffer sometimes in some of these old comics.
Makes you wonder what they're going to look like in 40 years comics.
Yeah, everybody's style is different, and like when Jack Kirby came along, he brought all this other action
Oh, he was the best.
to everything in a completely different way than had been seen before. So
I feel like his stuff is aged probably better than most.
it's weird. When I was a kid, I did not like Jack Kirby's art.
Yeah.
I didn't get it at all. But I mean, once I started to go to art school, oh man, I understood everything about it after that.
Right, I know what you're saying. I went through a very brief comic book phase when I was in junior high, and then that was like I was really into McFarlane's Spider-Man, and then for some reason, like there was an episode or an issue where Steve Ditko did it, and I was just like, this sucks.
Wow.
But I had no appreciation for it. I didn't realize, first of all, that he was the guy that partially invented the character.
That invented. Oh, Spider-Man, you mean?
Yeah.
For a second, I was just thinking of Spawn instead, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane had Steve Ditko do some Spawn. I mean, I may have to rethink a lot of things.
No, it was Spider-Man, because he had that such super ornate style, and then it just like whiplashed into like this very old school way.
Wow.
But now looking at it, I was just like, oh, this was a pro.
I probably have the same.
Mean, I love everybody's completely different. I love that comics is just a format, and completely different styles can coexist. It's like that there's not just one way to draw things. Maybe that's the thing in the past. Maybe people were always trying to draw more similarly, and
There's like a
suddenly
school.
Different artists came along and started, creating crazy new things. Also, like influences of European and Japanese comic artists.
True. You ever read Blood Meridian?
No.
By
Why does
Cormac
it sound
McCarthy?
familiar to me, though?
It's by Cormac McCarthy, and I have this dream of adapting it.
Really?
Boy,
Yes.
I would love to see that.
Is it as
really
uplifting as The Road?
No.
Worse in some ways, but more like more fantastic.
Really?
Real.
Oh, okay.
I think it lends itself well to. No, it
that would
comes
be
nowhere
hard.
near The Road. The road is just like unstoppable bleakness, but blood.
Yeah, I was like, that would be
violent
so
and horrible.
hard.
At least there's hope.
The same way with The Walking Dead. I was just commenting on someone's page on Facebook today. They made a comment about some zombie stuff. They were recommending different zombie genre things. And they said that they had been tired of The Walking Dead because of its brutality and its kind of monotony. And I said, well, I think that's exactly what would happen after an apocalypse like that. As we can see, people are brutal and they're not caring about other people. And if you take away every bit of the constraint that keeps them in civil society, it would be like a walking, The Walking Dead doesn't refer to the zombies. It refers to other people. It's like they just keep moving around trying to find some place where there's something more decent happening, instead of having to constantly fight or running across people that or becoming the types of people that they've been fighting beforehand. I mean, it's kind of I always thought it was much more of a social statement, but it would be monotonous. I mean, I can't imagine something like that.
We have a minute left, guys.
Minute left.
Oh
We're
my
at the top
gosh.
of the hour. Just about.
We should probably.
I could do this for hours, you guys.
I know this is.
Yeah, so experience the Chevrolet Trailblazer at DC Fandome. Explore the multiverse this Saturday, September 12th at dcfandome.com. Jill, thank you so much.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Jill.
I
This
wish
was
I
a
could have
pleasure.
finished this.
I
I'll
know.
finish this.
If this is a in-person drawing session, this would go probably on until 2
Yeah,
a.m.
for sure.
easily.
I'll have to live stream it.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Jill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Have a lovely, safe weekend and rest of the week.
Watch that Fandome.